welcome everyone to this swearing-in ceremony for the town of Wallingford. And to begin, I want to invite Commander Roy Cannon forward to post the colors.
Color guard, post the colors, forward, march. And salute. Two.
I want to invite Reverend Ann Brackett forward to lead us in the invocation.
Please join me in an attitude of prayer. Dear wise and loving God, first, this evening we want to say thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for our measure of health, all these things we need to fulfill our callings, for our friendships gathered here. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing awesome responsibilities. And thank you most of all for loving us from your boundless and gracious nature. I pray for our mayor, for all the various levels of city officials, and in particular, this assembled council. I'm asking, gracious God, that you would grant them wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and rightness, confidence in what is good and fitting, and the ability to work together in harmony, even when there's honest disagreement. And especially, loving God, give them personal peace in their lives and joy in their task. And so we pray for the agendas that are set before them. Give them an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved Wallingford. In your most blessed name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Brackett. I now ask Commander Cannon to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
And salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two.
Thank you, Commander. And now David Giardina directing the none other than Mark T. Sheehan Jazz Ensemble and the National Anthem. Commander Cannon, please retire the colors.
Color Guard, retire the colors.
Please be seated. Thank you very much, Commander Cannon. I want to have us all recognize and thank the Color Guard, Commander Cannon, as well as David Giardina and the Jazz Ensemble for the wonderful presence that they bring to this ceremony. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And now I would like to invite our Judge of Probate forward to give the oath of office to the mayor.
If you'll repeat after me. I, William W. Dickinson, Jr., do solemnly swear
I, William W. Dickinson, Jr., solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Connecticut,
and the Constitution of the State of Connecticut,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
and that I will faithfully discharge, according to law,
and I will faithfully discharge according to law
the duties of the office of Mayor of Wallingford,
the duties of the office of Mayor of Wallingford
to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
I think we also thank the Judge of Probate for being here. He's recovering from a serious injury, and we appreciate your dedication to duty and willingness to be with us tonight. Another 2-year term. It's a time of celebration. Certainly I, along with you, congratulate all of the incumbents as well as new officials who will begin terms this evening. A new term of office, and it's a wondrous time. But it's like new fallen snow. It looks real nice, but it brings responsibilities. Government and governing are not static. By nature, they are volatile. They draw interest, various types of interest. Public interest, private interest, financial interest, income interest, as well as principal and interest, special interests, self-interest. All compete for attention. We are asked as officials to evaluate competing interests. How do you identify what should be the proper balance? Choose the best course for moving forward. There was a man who found himself in need of writing a personal check at a restaurant. So he needed to identify who he was. So he offered a union card. He offered a department store credit card. He offered 2 gasoline cards. And the cashier said, "No, you could have stolen any of those." So the only thing he could find in his pocket was a note written to him by his pastor as thanks for having acted as a substitute in Sunday school for 1 month. showed that to the cashier. "That'll do." He said, "What? I could have stolen that." "Yes," the cashier said, "but why would you?" Think about that. What we steal too often has nothing to do with value. Ultimately, we are measured by our values. Fairness, lawfulness, empathy, honesty, caring, respect. Analyzing the positive and negative consequences to any act or inaction. This year we celebrate 350 years of Wallingford history. 350 years of local government, providing services to citizens, making decisions on their behalf. I believe that sets a high bar. Wallingford is a town of distinction and civic pride. We need to keep that bar high. It's something to strive to. It doesn't happen by magic. It happens because people care about one another. It's about values. So tonight we celebrate, but we also rededicate ourselves to the values that for 350 years have made Wallingford great, and we need to continue on that path. I thank you very much. And now I would ask our Judge of Probate to once more come forward and swear in our members of the Town Council.
Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, your duties as members of the Town Council of Wallingford to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations.
Once again, congratulations to each and every one of you. At this time, I will ask for a convening of a meeting and ask the town clerk to provide a roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. Serboni,
Here.
Fishbein,
Here.
Laffin,
Here.
Marone,
Here.
Morgenstein, Shortell,
Here.
Tata,
Here.
Testa,
Here.
Zandri.
Here.
8 accounted for, sir.
Thank you very much. The first item of business is to open the floor for nominations for the position of Town Council Chair. Are there any nominations? Mr. Fishbein.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When Vinny and I talked over the summer and I asked him for the permission to nominate him, I took it on pretty seriously, and I figured, it's Christmas time. We have to, good thing to do is to take a Christmas song and to perhaps modify it to tonight's proceedings. And this is where we started. Carini and Wall, Mezzi and Berdinsky, Bridget and Papali, Gessert and Parisi. But do you know here in Town Hall, the one who we choose to lead us all? Vinny, our council chairman, always makes me vote first, but if it were somehow different, I'd ask more questions and make it worse. Sometimes the other councilors like to laugh and play around. Vinny gets down to business on serious issues for our town. Herding cats can be a chore, but Vinny's on his game. Waiving bids, please no more, the council did exclaim. But then I decided that my voice can't stay that high the whole time. So I had to find something that was slower and deeper and that kind of stuff, and this is where we ended up. O little town of Wallingford, we come together as one to select a council chairman and perhaps to poke some fun. Above thy deep and dreamless sleep, yes, true to fact, it is I who makes this nomination without so much a sigh. Just this past November, we were picked with no confusion. I'm just glad we were all sworn in before the claims of Russian collusion. Before I go on with my job, I remind you all in attendance, due to a case named Janice, public workers have independence. The hopes and fears of all the years the councils have shared ever true. Let us select our leader as we start our term anew. He is one with whom I've served for all this past decade, and while we've often battled, I'll let those memories fade. This past term I saw some things that I never saw before. Our chairman was our leader, and I really can't ask for more. I do not know of which it is, which one did mature. Perhaps it may be both of us, it does not matter, I am sure. See him biking around our town, sometimes he is at his chalet. He plays and writes good music, a Renaissance man some would say. And so my fellow councilors, a name and nomination to lead us over our next term, I hope you approve with acclamation. I think that you must know his name, but for the freedom of information's sake, let Vincent Cervoni be our chairman, a nomination I do officially make. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Fishbein. Copyrightable. Okay. Is there a second to the nomination?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. First of all, thank you and congratulations. Also, congratulations to my fellow councilors on their re-election and to Councilor Tata on her addition to the team. I have no doubt that you'll jump in quickly and not disappoint anyone except maybe the 11 people in town that did not vote for you. Mr. Mayor, fellow councilors, I'd like to second the nomination of Vincent Cervoni for another term as Town Council Chairman. Every couple of years, we come back and revisit the question of whether or not we feel the town is headed in a positive direction. We do it in our elections, and we do it again on this night. After the 9 of us have been established, we come to ask ourselves who will be our leader, who will run our meetings, who will serve as the deputy mayor or acting mayor for the 30 minutes a year the mayor leaves town, and who will put up with us, our requests, our questions, and our needling. For the 4th time, I don't just believe that person is Vincent Cervoni, I know it is. With all of our egos and personalities, it isn't that any of us couldn't do it or couldn't do it well, but Vinny is just, I think, the best of the 9 of us, and for this town. He's cool, calm, and has incredibly fair judgment that we may only recognize in hindsight after he tells us no. And we all know he likes everything to go as smooth as he is. And that's got to be the only way he keeps his wife Jane tolerating the amount of time he spends on the town. And he can sing, like actually sing. My emphasis on actually is in no way to indicate or point to any other office holders who cannot sing, yet choose to frequently do so in public, at events and stuff. For those of you who attend the town council meetings, and it doesn't always appear on camera, you may often see me leaning over and whispering to Vinny and wonder what is going on. You often would not be able to tell what I'm saying because of his calm and unreacting demeanor that I've talked about. Sure, there are the reminders of we need emotion and so-and-so wants to talk, but he is so smooth and calm in the way he handles the meetings, he barely reacts to my other comments, such as, yeah, he wants to talk again. Do you want me to throw something at him? The biggest reaction I got once, and just about the only time I ever received one worries me, though, it was a pause and a curiously raised eyebrow of interest when I joked once, I can make it look like an accident. All joking aside, Chairman Cervoni prefers to avoid drama and egos in favor of actually getting things done. He's coordinated the private donations of firework funding for the past several years and doesn't even like when we mention it. Vinny's efficient running of the meetings, his fair judgment in the exercise of that judgment, in the order of those meetings, and the willingness to listen to everyone and let everyone speak their turn are something that I admire and look up to. He is a big brother, a trusted friend, a model counselor, and a very genuine public servant. Most of all, he is the leader of a team, our team. You're the central and all-connecting piece of this important 9-piece puzzle of really different personalities. It has been an honor to serve under your leadership to the council and the people of Wallingford. And councilors, please join me in continuing to support Vinny for another term as the chairman of the town council.
Thank you for the second. Are there any other nominations to be made? Is there a motion to close nominations? Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor of closing nominations signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nominations are closed. There's one name been nominated for the office of chairman. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Chairman.
Thank you, Mayor Dickinson. Congratulations on your reelection. Thanks to Councilors Fishbein and Laffin for their nomination and second. I'm not going to sing. Both of those were thoughtful, humbling, and each in their own way entertaining. Thank you to my fellow councilors for your confidence in allowing me the opportunity to be your chairman again. No matter how many times I've had this opportunity, I'm honored, and I don't take lightly the responsibility associated with it. I'd like to congratulate my fellow councilors, returning and new, on their election. Every election seems a bit different. Every victory feels a bit different. I know we all campaigned hard. The question becomes why? The council seat is one that isn't always rewarding. However, if you're sitting up here with me tonight, you've felt the reward that comes with this kind of service. If you haven't yet felt the reward, you anticipate it and look forward to the satisfaction that comes from exercising this great responsibility. Let's not focus on the fact that at any one point in the coming 2 years, half of the town is going to be angry at you, warranted or not. You too, Councilor Tata. The past several terms have seen the rise in the cost of government and education in town. These increases make for difficult decisions up here. We all want to provide the best services and opportunities for all who live here. However, there are times when the cost becomes concerning and hard to support. These are some of the toughest decisions that come along with these seats. The decisions are hard because we care. When first elected and sworn in for the 2010 council, if you had told me that we would be addressing as many community and social issues as we have, I would have been shocked. The early part of this past decade seemed much simpler. Early in my tenure, the work of the council was much more about the business of providing the town's basic services. With the rise in awareness of such important issues as opiate addiction and making tobacco products more attractive to minors, our job as a council has changed significantly. We have been forced to become community leaders in a way that we previously would not have anticipated. I've worked with all of my fellow councilors in this capacity and others over the past decade. I am confident that this group will continue to exercise its authority with the caution and care which have become the requirements of this seat. As Wallingford is a great town, so should its leaders be impressed with the responsibility associated with keeping it great. I thank my fellow councilors again for their confidence in me. With that, moving along the agenda, we come to the election of the Town Council Vice Chairman. Are there nominations for the position of Town Council Vice Chairman? Councilor Shortell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
And this is, I feel like, I know what it's like to be a priest or a minister at Christmas and look out and see the place filled up. So please, come back every other Tuesday. We're here. It's really exciting. And also, before I start, I also want to welcome Christina Tata, our newest counselor. And I want to echo what the mayor said, and it is a magical, kind of wondrous time, so enjoy it. It's hard for me to believe it's been 4 years since my first swearing in. So just soak it all in, because it wears off really, really quickly. Like the minute Marone asks Jim Bowes a question, it's gone. The magic is gone. So, but I'm not here to talk about that. I am here to nominate Tom Laffin for vice chair. When I think of Tom, 4 things come to mind. The first is service. For someone as young as Tom, he has dedicated an amazing amount of his life to serving our town. I think it was 4 or 5 years after he graduated from Hogwarts, he was elected to the Board of Education. And then after that, he began his council tenure in 2012. So this is a stat. If you do the math with Tom, 2 things are going to happen this term. Tom's going to turn 40, and Tom will also have completed a decade of service on the council. So think about the percentages there. I know you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking, that would have spent 25% of his life sitting next to Craig Fishbein, hearing Craig beat every dead horse every other Tuesday night. They should build a statue for you, Tom, just for enduring that. The second thing I think of when I think about Tom Laffin is he's a devoted dad. You can just go on Facebook and you can see he's always at one of Abby's soccer games. He's cheering Jack on at a robotics competition or with Boy Scouts. So he's a very devoted dad, devoted son, and that's something I definitely admire about him. I also admire, and I'm not on Facebook a lot, but I do admire, for a millennial, you're pretty restrained on how you post on Facebook. Like there's some people I know who I'm not going to name, who post like every minute. They post something on Facebook, then they post like memories of stuff they already posted. But Tom, you're really good about that. You actually don't do that, unlike some other people sitting up here to my left. So that's the second thing that comes to mind. The third thing that comes to mind is leadership when I think about Tom Laffin. So there were a couple issues last term where I thought that Tom really set himself apart. I'm not going to relitigate or go through all of them. There's one I am going to bring up though, and that was I guess it was the so-called illegal budget vote we took in May of 2018. And this was after the charter's window for the council to actually pass the budget had passed. There was some state funding that was uncertain. And the council got, we're going to pass the budget anyway, we're going to change the budget. And Tom was the only councilor who said, no, this is not right, this is not how it's supposed to be done. And Tom was the only councilor who voted against it. And Tom was right. And I admire Tom for that. And what that shows me about Tom is that he's not afraid to make an unpopular stand on something. And he's not afraid to sort of set emotion aside and look at facts. And that's something that I think we need in leadership today. And so I appreciate that about Tom. The last thing I think of when I think of Tom Laffin is something that they begged me not to say. The problem is when you beg me not to put something in a speech, that's not how you deal with me, because I'm just going to do it. So the last thing I think of is superhero when I think of Tom Laffin. So we have a joke up here among the Republicans. It's not with you guys, sorry. That we all have superhero personas that we kind of talk about. So I'm going to spill those beans right now. For example, Craig is Aquaman. Joe Marone is Deadpool. Christina, now you're new, but we figured out you're Wonder Woman because she's the only superhero with an airplane. Now, if John Letourneau, I don't know, is John Letourneau here? Because that's going to affect this joke. If John Letourneau were here, now John Letourneau was up here for many, many years. He was Robin Hood. Now Robin Hood's not really a superhero, but what does Robin Hood need? He needs all those trails in the Sherwood Forest to get from place to help all those people. So that John Letourneau would have been Robin Hood. And then Vinny, you were the Green Lantern. And Sal, we had one for you. You're Iron Man, because like the Board of Ed, Iron Man is rich, rolling in money. But Tom Laffin is is Batman, but not Tom's not a murderous, vigilante that's going out there at night. Although the stats are good with those car break-ins, so you never know what Tom's doing at night. But no, what I think of Tom though, Tom is like Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne doesn't want credit for anything. Bruce Wayne does everything behind the scenes, and that's very much Tom's MO. He is very into results, and he's not going to look for a headline in the newspaper or a soundbite. He wants to get stuff done, and I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it with him when he campaigns. I've seen it with him when he talks to people one-on-one, and his work as a counselor and as vice chair. So he cares about this town and its results. So for all of those reasons, it is my honor to nominate my friend, one of my best friends, and my favorite millennial, sorry, Christina, Tom Laffin, to be vice chair for the Wallingford Town Council for the 2020-2021 term. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second? Councilor Morone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, congratulations to the other council members that won. Congratulations to the Board of Ed members and the mayor. It's my honor and privilege to second the nomination of Tom Laffin for vice chair of the Wallingford Town Council. Why would anyone want to be vice chair, you ask? Second in command, maybe the lesser of council leadership? Well, let me tell you that sometimes the second is better than the first. Who doesn't remember Jaws 2? Or Men in Black 2? Or My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2? All of which answered all of the unanswered questions of the first and gave us something genuine and original to enjoy. Is Tom like Tonto to Vinny's Lone Ranger? Is he Robin to Vinny's Batman? Is he like Mr. Spock to Vinny's Captain Kirk? No, he's none of those. He can't even get invited to the administrative agenda meetings. Now, according to the Town Charter, if the mayor becomes incapacitated, the chair takes over as mayor. Does the vice chair take over if both the chair and the mayor can't serve? No way, we're not that crazy in town. It goes to the department heads. But what do you need to know about Tom? He's an outstanding councilman, a good father, a great friend, and an all-around good guy. He's an Eagle Scout, he works for a not-for-profit, and he finds time to go to tons of events around town. He always comes prepared to meetings, and he deeply cares about Wallingford. He doesn't ask questions to get on camera. He works diligently in and outside of the council chamber to get his point across and his agenda addressed. Tom works hard for Vinny, works hard for the council and for the residents of Wallingford, and has for the past 4 years as vice chair. With your support, I look forward to Mr. Laffin being vice chair for 2 more. So I second the nomination of Tom Laffin for vice chair for the next term.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for vice chairman? There being none, is there a motion to close nominations for vice chairman?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor of closing nominations for vice chairman signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. The motion carries. There being one vice chairman candidate nominated, all those in favor of electing Tom Laffin, vice chairman of this town council, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, congratulations. And the agenda says you don't get remarks. So to Joe's point.
I'm not a millennial, though.
On to item 11, swearing in the Board of Education. Judge Wright, would you honor us again? And would the elected members of the Board of Education please come forward?
Solemnly swear that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, your duties as members of the Wallingford Board of Education to the best of your ability, so help you God. Congratulations.
After this meeting, the town council is going to have a brief business meeting or a special town council meeting, but this concludes the business for the swearing-in ceremony for January 6, 2020. The colors having been already retired, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There being none, I declare this swearing-in ceremony adjourned. Thank you.